Hi, Leo. Taurus season. All information to work with me one-on-one is below, as well as the extended to this reading, which is a trigger going so well. So I highly recommend checking out the extendeds on Patreon. First card out, a Fool in reverse. Interesting. We have this Fool in reverse. So Aries season. It came and it went. I think it's about the difference between what it looks like and how it looks like Aries moves in the world as opposed to the way that Taurus moves in the world and how you move in the world throughout the transition of these signs. Also, the Aries eclipse that just passed had probably taken a spin on something that you thought maybe was gonna go a little bit better, maybe a risk or something, and then you realized it's not time. The one thing about Taurus is that they take their time. You know, if you know any Taurus, they don't really love to be rushed in any extent because they get it, that it takes the time it takes for them, and then they can go when they want to. But aside from that, like intuitively, this is how something's showing up in order for you to really let go and get past maybe a situation that didn't work out as you planned, something that you thought was, it's possible that a third party or someone maybe doesn't think how you feel or what's been going on is really that important, but to you it is. And hold on. Okay, sorry. And what this reveals to you is that these situations that you can completely detach from. So we don't talk about your detachment. Really, we talk about your axis. Aquarius being this person, the detached one. But if you've committed to something, you're going to see it through. However, when you know something isn't right for you or something isn't adding up, especially if it has to do with, and if it's affecting the alignment of your life right now, like we don't even have to speak about the past, let's be here, and you can relate this to your past if you'd like to, is you are really in the place where you're committed to that right now. And it looks different because it's not about anything you've learned. You're tapping back into that very instinctual nature of yourself. So it's a very instinctual time, very natural time for you. So if there are things that just slip away or things that reveal themselves or people that reveal themselves to you, it's like you're not even surprised. You're not taking things like super personal this month because I think you've realized that you've made the commitment you've made to yourself, to whatever people in your life that are most important, which we talk about on and off this past year quite a bit. So let's acknowledge that and realize that from the 5 of Swords to the 7 of Swords, and then we have also the 6 of Swords out, and we have the 2 Swords in reverse. You jumped from being in the situation, feeling good about the win, feeling good about however you handle it. It's not even just about the win. You feel like you've won by the way that you have handled what has happened, what has transpired. And that commits you deeper to whatever you were questioning of letting go of, or an idea of getting rid of, scrapping something and trying something new, or even realizing that it might be a good time to be, lots of cards, a good time for you to not be so attached to what is surrounding you right now. Because, why? Because you may be being taken to another aspect of your life. And it's really important that the Two of Cups, the commitment runs deeper than this Four. Because really, if you're doubting your capabilities, that could just stem from a lot of the things that you had to look at, perhaps. But you know you have a lot to give and a lot to offer. And if you're thinking in any term of lack, this can like roll right past you. So this month, it's empowering you to realize that maybe there's something that you've been giving to that, again, it isn't adding up, and it's showing here that if then you get to that point in this month where you're doubting or you're not seeing things change, it's your perspective that needs a shift. It's maybe doing something, giving, being generous to that part of yourself, perhaps, that needs a little bit more nurturing, maybe needs more nature. And then you can easily realize, and you kind of bring all of this into that very streamline and golden string of, oh, I get it. I get what this is showing me. I get where May is taking me, right? I get that I'm being very intentional, I being you're being very intentional about where your time is being spent, where your energy, and not just time like externally, but within yourself, how the time within you is being spent, like what you're worrying about, what you're thinking about, what you're planning, all of that, because all of these fell out, like all of them at the same time. So just give me a moment. Because through all of this, you get re-inspired. You create a lot of energy to be inspired. I'm just gonna go like this. And it's because there's a possibility that you haven't been giving yourself the benefit of the doubt, but you've been maybe giving it to everyone else around you, or this situation, whatever this is based upon. Because if people are gonna do you some type of way, and you're in this place where you're really finding that alignment, and you're not being stubborn or cold just because it's not what you want to hear, it's not how you want to hear, or it's not exactly what you expected, but you're not surprised, you're in like that calm, cool, collected stage that you're only committing to what's important, you're only giving your energy there. So these things that fall away this month, of course they're gonna need you, right? There's some people that might need you or need this thing from you, but you'll realize as long as you're in tune, you will realize very shortly after you either say yes or no to this person, and like how they react, and how in between these moments of being there and helping out or whatever it is, you find that the relationship is lacking, perhaps, or something is lacking, and you find that through that, it helps you realize that being fair also means being fair to yourself in this way. And it's not unlike Leo to know these things, right? But there's something being fine-tuned within how you interact with your relationships, whether it's through work, other business, or family, or the people, that you love the most, and then the other people that are in your life as well. So what this is saying is that may inspire you and very much re-inspire you to put all of that energy into something that creates a lot more space for you, maybe even more money for you in the long term, things that make more sense, that maybe you have to take a cut of this right now, but in the long term, things are going to look different. You know, more of this, more expectation. I want to be able to expect these things from certain people. I want to be able to do this. And you're very vocal about what you're gathering. You're not afraid to be open about it because you know it's not a vulnerable thing anymore. It's just you being aware of the injustice to yourself. Because if other people in your life who love you, and I said something very similar to Cancer, which is so interesting, that maybe that like grouping, that part of the season is kind of going through a growth together. Perhaps it's not the same at all, but it's a very similar context. In like, if you're being fair to other people but they're not being fair to you, or and it does not, everything has to be that equal of transaction either, but there's something so strongly about, but that's the imbalance in your life. That's where nature needs to grow. That's where you understand that if you're continuously giving but then you have doubt come up, that's your key to know that there's something better waiting for you to take notice of it, you know, because you deserve better. You're worth more than that, and this is just you having that recognition of it. So it's nothing to be, to feel any type of way about. It's just that your conscious is lining up, catching up with your subconscious, and both are coming together with this particular aspect of your life. Because the whole thing, and going back to the Fool in reverse, it's almost like you want this inspiration, you wanted to do this thing, or you wanted to make this decision just to, feel that again, or feel that in a specific way, but you realize that's not what gets you there, and that just gets you to having to think and question about that realignment of yourself and taking notice of that, taking stock of that. Because we're in a very stable month. You feel the kinship of the fixed sign, the fixed season. You know it's almost your turn. It's not far away. And we have them all show up in the Wheel of Fortune here, and that all of this is about, digesting but also building upon what has transpired. It could just even be the retrograde that's kind of messing with you in the beginning, and then it all becomes a lot clearer for you because you're realizing that what you've done before can be used. You can do that again. It's just going to look different, maybe even more fine-tuned, right? And you have these ideas, you've already put some things out there, but then you find yourself so in the process that you also have a possible major realization that what's kept you held back. And it could be from, deep programming from the culture, or something specific that has happened in your life where, or you find the root of where whatever caused you to be more fair to others instead of yourself in this specific aspect. Where are my kitties? Hey, Biddy. He really loves the readings a lot. Actually, both my cats do, but him especially lately this month. So I'll just say hi to him. Let me just fix everything again. So yeah, this realization is going to really be helpful in terms of, came up again. Kids, are you okay? He's fine. They're going to come up again, right? You may realize where this comes from, and maybe you don't, but then you still have a realization that helps clear everything out moving forward. So I think this is like a psychic clearing, but it's also very mental. There's a lot of focus on this, and then through the month, by the time this right after around this comes out, you'll see like, okay, this is the light forward, this is where I know I'm going. I feel more myself, like in a way that I really needed to. I'm just gonna let them chill. And the insight comes so quickly. And if you have someone in your life who also is very fortunate in this way, it will only cause you to realize that it's a sign, and it's, you know, it's doubling in your life. All right, Leo, I will see you in the next part. This is Biddy. We'll see you in the next part. And all information to work with me is below.